Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So we are from group 4 that has Fitroh, Niken, and Efrida as a members. So now we are going to explain you about preposition of place. So the first we are going to tell you about preposition of place's definition. A preposition is a word which shows a relationship with other words in the sentence. Preposition always goes with a noun or pronoun, which is called the object of the preposition. A preposition word can be used to show where something is located. Greenbaum defined that relationship prepositions are close class of items connecting two units in a sentence and specifying a relationship placed between them. Meanwhile, Farmer states that preposition is that introduce and modifying another word or a part of sentence. From those definitions, it can be said that preposition is a word placed before noun or pronoun to show its relationship, or a word that used to give a complete sentence. For example, I put my pen in the box. This is a complete sentence, but if the word in is omitted, there is no sense of the sentence. The pen might be placed on the box, under the box, or behind the box, or where else. Until some sentence preposition have been inserted, the relation between the pen and the box are a noun. In other words, in a sentence, a preposition usually indicates the temporal, spatial, or logical of its objects to the rest of the sentence.
There are many kinds of prepositions. Some of are simple in form. There are kinds of preposition: A. Preposition time, B. Preposition place, and C. Preposition showing directions.
And now we have to learn about preposition of place.
There are three kinds of prepositions that show the place or position. There are the point itself, higher or lower than point, and neighboring the point. For the point itself, splits into in or inside, on top, and at. In or inside indicates the area of something enclosed, a container, drawer, a room, building, the world. Example, I put the new batteries in the radio. Inside, emphasize the containment. Example, I kept my socks inside the drawer. On or on top. On indicates the surface of something like a floor, a wall, a ceiling. Example, put your book on the table. On top of emphasize the uppermost horizontal surface. It is used with an object that has some height. Example, I put your bag on top of bookcase. At refers to general vicinity where presence at a place is indicated. Example, they are at school. At also used for addresses with street numbers. Example, I live at 123 Pine Street. After the verb alive, at refers to a place smaller than a city town. Example, he has arrived at the airport. For a city, it is more usual, but at may also be used, especially in reference to traveling. Example, the plane arrived in Indonesia an hour late.
And now we move to another kind of preposition of place. On this point, the sentence using over and above words to show relationship of pronoun or nouns. Over a word is felt to be generally higher than a point. For example, the plane flew over the mountains. In this sentence, the points must be the mountains. Over words showing the relationship between the plane and the mountains means that the plane should be higher than the mountains. And now is using above word. Above is felt to be directly higher than a point. You can see that difference of over and above is generally and directly. For example, the air conditioner above the table. It must be known that air conditioner always higher than a table as a point. So in this case, using above to show the relationship between air conditioner and the table. And now is lower than a point. On this section, you will use under, underneath, beneath, and below. You will use under word if there is something to be generally lower than a point. For example, the book fell under the table, and then is underneath. This word expresses the idea of class under, especially so as to be hidden. For example, have you looked underneath the bed? And then is beneath. Beneath what expresses the idea of directly under, with some space between. Example, the cat sits beneath the tree. And the last is below. Below word is felt to be directly lower than a point. For example, my brother's room is below mine.
Near. Near has the most general meaning of neighboring a point. By is a synonym for near. Close to means very near. Example, I live near the campus. Next to, with nothing else between them. Example, the restaurant is next to the hotel. Alongside, adjoining persons or things considered as lined up or side by side. Example, the motorcycle was parked alongside of the cinema. Beside, on one side of person or thing that has two sides. Example, I sit beside my mother during the party. Between, on each side of person or thing that has two sides. Example, I sit between my two sisters. If more than two persons or things positioned around a point, among is used. Example, he sits among all his brothers. Opposite, directly facing someone or something else. Example, the museum is just opposite the post office.
So, there is our explanation about preposition of place. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.